semi-finals.
When we arrived here on Tuesday afternoon, 32 teams still had hopes of being the Bet-Victor World Cup of Pool champions. Now, of those 32, only 4 teams remain. And really, the cream have risen to the top. They won the lag, they broke their potted balls, or at least one ball, the 8. Got shape on the rest and made the rack look as simple as you like. Money in the bank. 4-9 combination. It's 1-1.
Big shot for Niels here, though, after that miss on the 3. Yeah. Oh, wow. A fluke. Is it going to get any reward?
And he certainly got lady luck in his corner. That was a massive fluke. Early doors, and we've already seen a double Dutch success.
Oh, a nice little drag stroke there on the 8. And a chip in 9 to tie a match of 2 games apiece.
Good number 2s in this tournament. They are gold dust.
Well, again, Niels not with the best timing on the draw stroke there, and he's left his partner a tester.
Well, if that doesn't settle any early nerves, nothing will. It was, as Jeremy rightly said, a poor positional shot from Fine.
Jeffrey DeLuna, another nice shot on the 8 for a throw-in.
We fully expected a toe-to-toe battle, and that's precisely what's transpiring.
He'll want to ricochet off the bottom of the 1, sending the cue ball at the 4. Oh, and he missed it all.
One, 4, 9. That was never going to be missed in a month of Sundays. And it seems as though Biardo's no cushion foul will lead to no cushion for the Filipinos. Their lead is about to be erased. Thrust and counter thrust. No advantage for either side. Ladies and gentlemen, he's not missing this. For the second time in the match, the Philippines hit the front. Fighting back again. It was the missed 1 ball from DeLuna, the jump then from Bosch to Bosch, and it is now 5-5. The spade work done by Bosch to Bosch. The winning 9 ball knocked in by Fine. This Dutch duo refuse to go away. They're back in front at 6-5.
So again, Just a chip in on the 9 to get another tie score in our first semifinal.
It does not get closer than this, not just in terms of the scoreboard, but also in the way all 4 players are playing. No mistake, though, on the 8 ball from Mr. Dependable, Carlo Biardo, the star of this match for me thus far, together with Mark Beach-de-Bosch. The lead, the advantage, the momentum continues to swap hands.
I'm not sure he can reach this one. Still, though, Carlo very efficient with the bridge. I don't see this being a problem. Just a bit of a punch shot coming across for the 9.
It's the first 2-rack lead in the match. And boy, it's going to be timely.
The problem in hand, huge hit here for Holland to survive in this tournament.
And no hit at all is doomsday.
And deservedly, Carlo Biardo, former world 9-ball champion, gets a chance to get his team into the final with what looks like a fairly routine 1-9 combination.
Yeah! That was a thriller for the folks in Manila, and it was a thriller here. The Filipinos coming good. They march into the final. Congratulations to the Dutch for a fine tournament. But in the end, the Filipinos proved too good. Carlo Biardo and Jeffrey De Luna are 1 win away from lifting this World Cup trophy. 9-6, the final score. Spanish smiles in evidence. David Alcade on the right, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz on the left. But I'll tell you what, for me, it's been a little bit smoke and mirrors getting through to this semi-final for them. They need, I believe, to radically improve. Of course, they're well capable of improving and winning, indeed winning the whole shebang.
Austria win the lag.
Albin got into the cue ball too much. Placed his opponent, or should I say his partner, in a snooker. The jump shot didn't work. Spain then took advantage. First blood.
No huge mistakes yet from any teams, to be fair. What we class as a huge mistake is a very makeable pot. Of course, you're always going to miss certain pots on a pool table, but there's kind of gimmies and things like that.
First 2 racks have been completed and they've been shared.
Sometimes you have to aim a little bit wider on this because it throws, well, there you see, aim where you want, Mario.
He knocked the combination on, he knocked it in.
Just like the first semi-final, it was nip and tuck all the way. This one's looking like going the same.
Nicely done. David Alcade, the senior member of this Spanish team, in both age and indeed in terms of resume.
You could clearly see that would go off the top jaw and then flip the 8 and... Well, has he scratched? Has he scratched? He has scratched. Wow, David Alcade. What a mistake.
All of that table to drop into. Anywhere but their shot. Mario, he and the Austrians can't believe their luck. They had a simple 9-ball from hand. Extraordinary. Austria 3, Spain 2.
And he's missed it. That is all caused by the poor positional shot, but I've got to be honest, the Spanish have missed a lot of balls this week. Yeah, watch for the scratch. It's not so much the pot that's the problem, it's the scratch. But he's judged it well, and how have Austria won the last 2 racks, Phil? So it obviously goes fairly easy into the middle, but yeah, there you go, that's fine. Pool players often prefer to shoot the balls in the corners for obvious reasons.
A gap, a discernible gap, is developing.
It's skidded, Phil. In fairness to David Alcade, the 8-ball has skidded.
What a bounce that was, though. Shouldn't be an issue. But again, the Austrians just stepping in and picking up the pieces.
Yeah, I've spoke to a few players over the last few days, and the heat outside, they're saying they feel like it's bouncing a little bit harder than usual, so every shot's a bit tentative. This is a big 9-ball, and it's gone in the heart of the pocket. Unfortunate for Spain there, of course. The 8-ball took a little skid, but it was a thin one, and sometimes you do see that happen, don't you? When you're just trying to roll it because it's super thin, you are concerned about the contact. So he's going for the bank shot here. I don't blame him. Make something happen. And it's unlucky. He's hit both jaws, and this is going to go over towards the left pocket. And again, Phil, what is going on here?
Throwing away racks repeatedly. I've never seen a match quite like this.
I mean, no wonder Austria are getting to all these finals. Is this what goes on in the matches, Phil? As you said, this has been incredible.
When Auschen scratched, he must have thought he was to blame for the Austrians losing this rack. If the 9-ball goes in, or should I say when the 9-ball goes in, they're going to win the rack. Scoreboard-wise, the Austrians are in command.
I'll tell you what, Phil, we've seen it all this week. We've seen great shot making, we've seen poor misses. We've seen Chris Mellin miss a ball that he'll never miss again in his life. And we've also seen one of the really semi-finals of all time.
A match the like of which I personally have never seen. This scoreline could so easily be transposed, and yet Austria lead 8-2.
Just keep an eye on the 2 Spanish boys after this. I'm sure they'll have a laugh and a giggle.
Well, I thought so too, but it took a while for a smile to emerge. If they do wrap this up, this would be the 13th win out of their last 14 matches in the World Cup for Austria. Now that is some strike rate. Just a touch of Czech side to control the cue ball, drain the pace out of it.
Yeah, I think this is more relief. It's not one of them types of matches where it's huge celebration time, because that usually comes from high pressure. This has been a grind.
It was 9-3, but it never had that feel. Spain will have so many regrets, so many mistakes, so many errors when they could ill afford them. Austria come through comfortably in the end, but it didn't feel that way.
Please welcome to the Morningside Arena Leicester, your Bet Victor World Cup of Pool 2019 finalists, the Philippines and Austria.
It is Asia against Europe with an American referee. John Lehman there in the centre taking charge of the title match. I think, given the way they've played on the run-in to the final, you have to make the Filipinos favourite. That said, though,
okay, guys.
they've lost 22 racks to be
you guys
here.
4 here. You 4.
The Austrians have only lost 13.
Philippines wins the lag and will break first.
Yeah, he's played that lovely. Just going to set wonderful speed on the up there into the pocket.
The story of the opening rack, quite simple. Jeffrey De Luna took on a risky 2-ball. He missed it, and the Austrians capitalised.
Wow, 25 ounces. Well, he stays in the gym, and 25 ounces, you better stay in the gym, I'll tell you that. When we talk about cue power, like when I teach back home, I really tell the people it's all about mastering up to about 70%. You really don't need much more than that when it comes to swinging the cue. But here, a jacked up 9-ball.
This is a tester for the former world 9-ball champion.
Oh, and a test passed with flying colours. The economy of that cue action and the way it was delivered, sweetness personified.
So really, really an error there to lose the cue ball off the table and an object ball.
And the sum and substance, De Luna's rush of blood has given Austria an easy task. In goes the 9, and they win the rack without breaking sweat.
Yeah, no matter how great a player you are in these settings, especially playing doubles, if you're a rookie, you're a rookie. It does not matter.
Ashen's mistake. The Filipinos rack.
So rack 5, I think, a little bit fortunate for Austria when Albin kicked and played a tough snooker.
Yes, a fluke snooker out of a snooker. But I tell you what, they will accept it gratefully.
Lovely. Come on.
He got one bank, but not the other.
So, you know, first glance, this is the 6th rack, and I think Jeffrey's getting a little bit carried away out there.
Attention, please.
I'd have to agree. We didn't see as much of the animated Jeffrey, maybe with some shots at times, but not so much the mindful animation. He's got to really talk with his cue stick and settle down.
You know what they say, in vino veritas, in wine is truth. In pressure is truth as well. You see the real player coming out. And De Luna is an excitable sort. Well, any controversy about whether that was a time foul will now be a moot point because Austria win the rack anyway.
Oh, he was playing it over the other side. I thought he was just going to pull it back with a bit of left.
Well, that's what I mean. He might have had a second thought, not liking what happened in the last match with a big miscue. Decided to punch it over.
Austria moving on. This is getting serious. Seriously exciting for fans of Austria.
So that's the shot they're playing. This has got to go, hasn't it, Jeremy? It really has.
Yeah, and a better strike by Jeffrey there. It's a lot better to get it more full on this. You want a hair more speed than like some thin cut shot.
Two swift, clean racks in succession.
Is he trying to play the one off the 9 maybe? Not sure. Is he trying to play a bank? I don't really see a safety I like.
Wow, I honestly nearly called it. I thought it was too wide. What a shot from Mario Hay in the final. In this alternate break format, and where there is a skill to this break, it's not just hit and hope. You just feel like the writing is on the wall for Team Philippines.
Mario Hay knocking in the 9-ball. The Austrian stock continuing to rocket.
Is he thinking if I leave him thin, he could underhit the positional shot?
No debate about this. Mark it down. This is in. And nothing is relieving the depression being felt by the Filipinos.
Wants to get kind of close though, so he'll float this with some English towards that 2-9.
One man who knows how the Filipinos will be feeling. David Al-Qaedi just having flashbacks. Part of the Spanish team
Extension,
beaten
please.
heavily in the semi-finals by Austria.
So this is clearly tight, I presume.
It is one-way traffic.
Yeah, the pocket looks pretty big to Mario right now. Okay, what's he done with the cue ball? Is this going to get underneath the 8? Or is this going to go a little bit? It's going to be all right.
I think the engraver can start work. The trophy engraver.
Yeah, one good shot from Albin and it's all over, and it'll be all over from us guys as well. And thoroughly enjoyed commentating this week with Jeremy Jones, legend of the game, and Phil Yates, a legend in the box.
But don't sign off too quickly. Don't sign off too quickly.
Well, thanks, Carl, and I feel the same. And I wouldn't say too quickly, but I think Mario's going to hit nothing but dead center here, and Austria's going to take their second World Cup title.
It would be appropriate, given the way he's played, if he pots this. He is the man. It's Auschwitz 11. 11-3 for the Austrians. Who would have thought they would have beat the mighty Filipinos by such a thumping margin? But they have. You know, Meatloaf sang 2 out of 3 ain't bad. The Austrians would agree with that. World Cup champions twice in the last 3 years.
The worthy winners of 2019's World Cup of Pool Bet Victor, Austria.